I need to love myself.
What do you mean?
Well, you see, I wasn't but about 5 years old when that man who called himself my owner started sending me out to work for some other folks. Now, I ain't mean he sent me out for some day work. He sent me out to live with them folks. And there was some mean people, sure enough was. I ain't gonna never forget that morning I first saw Miss Susan. Never will. Now, it was early in the morning. Miss Susan had pulled up her wagon at the big house, said she needs somebody to take care of her baby. And she ain't had a whole lot of money for no grown person. So she just picked out little old Scranton and me. She grabbed my arm and she took me in her wagon, and oh, I was crying, and Mom was on the side crying. She couldn't stop them. She said, Minty, you do what you're supposed to do. Be good now. Do the work like they tell you to. And don't be asking no questions. Ooh, I was scared of that Miss Susan. One thing I noticed when I first got there, and she opened the door, that Miss Susan lived in a real house.
A real house? What do you mean?
Oh, baby. Well, us slaves, Liz, you can't call it no house. We had more like a shack, that's what it was. One room with a dirt floor. We had a stove in there to keep us warm and to cook on. My daddy made us a table, and we had a couple of benches to sit on. And other than that, we had some quilts or some rags on the floor where we slept. And that was it. Now, Miss Susan, so her first thing I noticed, she had wood floors with rugs on them. And she had a room for everything. Sure did. She had a kitchen for cooking. And then she had a dining room. You know, you sit there and ate in one whole room. And then she took me to her parlor. I ain't never heard of a room called a parlor. Well, first thing she did when I got there, she gave me a broom and a rag, and she said, girl, you clean up this parlor. Now you dust the furnace, don't you break nothing in here. And sweep the floor. Now, children, I told you where I come from. I ain't got nothing like that to clean up. But Mama told me to do what I was told to do and don't be asking no questions. So I was gonna do it. So I got my rag and I dusted off of her furniture, made sure I didn't break nothing. And then I swept the floors and came back. She pulled out her whip and she started yelling at me, you stupid girl! Didn't I tell you to clean this room? Now you better do like I told you. Clean this room like I told you. Scared of that woman. I thought I was doing right, so I did it over. This time I rubbed them furniture so good I could see my face in there. And I swept harder this time. Miss Susan came back. 5 times she came back whipping on me. I was so scared of that woman. I thought she's gonna kill me. Her sister, Miss Emily, was upstairs sleeping, and she finally came down. Oh, I don't know what took her so long. She said, Susan, what are you doing? Why you keep beating that girl? If she know how to do the work, don't you think she stopped so you stop beating her? She said, leave her with me. Now, Miss Emily, she looked like her sister, but she ain't had them mean wrinkles in her forehead. She didn't look so mean. She said, child, show me what you're doing. So I got my rag and started rubbing the furniture. She said, right there, that's the problem. Now, first, I want you to go over and open the window. Then you sweep the floor. Then go on in the kitchen and help with breakfast. And then come back after the dust is settled on the furniture. Then you can dust the furniture. Don't y'all know that worked? I could have done it right the first time if Miss Susan just told me how to do it. Well, she ain't know no better.
What do you mean she didn't know any better? Anyone knows not to beat children.
Exactly.
She taught that us colored folks was there to work for white folks. And if they don't do what you told them to do, then you just beat them. I had to forgive her eventually. I knows how folks feel about how could I forgive her. But you see, I know that those scars that she put on my body, they may never go away, but the scars on my spirit, I could not let them hold me back from moving forward with my life, sure enough. See, my grandmother, my mama's mama name was Modesty, and she's from Africa. And Grandma Modesty, she taught me when I was real young that all about Africa. And she told us stories about how we come from strong people. And that Mama and she was my link to those people. She told me that I come from folks who had property and was loving and kings and queens and smart and then I had that spirit of my people inside of me. And that strong spirit I need to hold on to. I need to hold on to it and don't let nobody break your spirit. You got that spirit. They told me, they say, you just keep on praying and believing that things are going to get better for you one day. I believed them. I sure enough did. I believed them. Sure did. And eventually, it took a while, I have to say that, but my life did get better.